Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Lucklight Plays. We're continuing our run-through of Final Fantasy III for Nintendo, and I did miss one thing here in Kazus. I learned that I cannot actually... That was a staff. Sorry, I keep clicking things fast. I cannot actually open those mines until after I save the town, so those mithril swords I cannot get. But I did forget about this forest that you can walk through. So I did pick up that staff, the Zeus Rage, which is use an item, get a spell, and a mithril helm, which will be more defense for our dear warrior. A little bit, at least. I also, I gained my levels up to level 10, and I can't use that shop, so no reason to go in there. So, I think we're more than ready for whatever faces us in the Cave of the Seal, which is where we're headed next. We need to find A. Princess Sara, B. her mithril ring, so that we can seal the Jinn that caused the curse, and 3, or C, I forget which one I did. Sorry. C, we need to stop the Jinn, which will probably involve a boss fight. So sealing it will not be as easy as usual. So I'm gonna junk all the crap. I don't need these wooden. I'm gonna save the holy ones though. Bow can go, dagger can go, staff can go, leather can go. I have plenty of money now too. We should use to stock up on restorative items, now that I think about it, because while I was leveling I found that I had to rely on a lot of spells, and you also notice that potions are 150, we'll go with eye drops. Eye drops are 40, but if you buy in bulk you get a discount, which I don't think any other game really did that. I may be wrong though. Any other Final Fantasy, rather. So I'm gonna buy 10 potions, or 10 antidotes, rather. 10 eye drops. 10 potions. Should be good. And we'll sort these. Potions up here, antidotes, eye drops, echo herbs, item magic, holy arrows. Great. Alright, I think we're ready. Let's head on out. Did I heal? Yes, I did. Yeah, the one problem with having a red mage is that its magic point growth is not as high naturally as, you know, obviously the black mage. So, healing spells will be a little more scarce than, say, the ice spell. But I think we'll be able to manage. So let's plop ourselves down. Let's save our game. It also tells me how many times I saved on the top right hand corner, which I think is kind of cool. So we can see how much of a crazy brave person I am. And we're immediately starting off with combat. Which, you know, that's always the case, isn't it? Alright. I think there's actually another cure spell in this cave, which is funny. But unfortunately I don't have another person using it, so it'll probably end up being... I'll probably throw it on one of my warrior characters who can't use it, but you can use their magic slots to kind of fill your magic, you know, just as to hold on to it without stuffing your inventory, which is also very helpful. And plus, if I ever switch jobs to something that can use those spells, they're right available for you. So, handy dandy. I will say it's a good thing that I bought all those potions, because these guys, they can poison you. The shadows that I fought, you saw them in the mine when I fought them the first time. They're here too. They cause blind, which is very annoying. And, you know, when they're not doing that, they're just punching you in the jaw, so... It's a good thing that we bought all of those items. You can also tell, I hope you can tell, that Lagrange Point, which we just finished, that game, because I didn't know what was going on, I had far less to talk about. It was more reactionary than just kind of knowing stuff. This game I know pretty well, so hopefully I have more to talk about. More to rap with you. Hopefully. As I immediately go silent. Plus there's a lot more information online too, so if I do get hung up on something stupid, I can easily check it. And get back to you. So if you remember what the king said. The king said that, something about a room with skulls having a switch. Well, that wasn't make-believe, that was actually what happens. So we're gonna hit that skull, and the one thing I always wondered is how they're activating these doorways. Like, in the beginning, I clicked on a rock, and that caused the, you know, the pathway to open. Did he push the rock? Did he fiddle with it? Did he move it a little bit? Was there a switch in the rock? Like, I always wondered those kind of things. Like, I know I do that in a lot of games, like, I just wonder about things. Like, where's this? Do I move the skull, and that opens the door? I don't know. But also, because doors close themselves, if that happens to you, you're never stuck. Just look up and click A, and it'll open. Just in case you play this. It's Sara, daughter of King Sasune. Since I was wearing the mithril ring, I wasn't put under Jinn's curse. So she tried to help, but couldn't make it. Sara's like, no, I'll do this. Take me with you. You can't seal Jinn without this mithril ring. Oh yes, to talk to me, press B. I came here alone, got stuck. I'm so lucky you came, thanks a ton. So you'll also notice, if you were a fan of 8-Bit Theater, if you ever read 8-Bit Theater on the internet, it's a webcomic about Final Fantasy I, a lot of the sprites he uses are actually from this game as well. So that Princess Sara sprite was used. There's also a character later on named, I think it's Doga, who he turned into Sarda in the comic. So that's where these sprites come from, actually. Which, if you haven't read 8-Bit Theater, it was very popular around my time, when the internet was new. Back when I was in high school/college. There's a lot of webcomics online that were very popular, and I don't know if they're still trucking along, but I know 8-Bit Theater ended. But yeah, if you know, if this is after your time, or before your time, rather, give them a look. There's another, it's actually another sprite comic. It was like an animated sprite comic. I thought it was really good. I don't know if you can read it online, but I think there's an archive you can download, and it doesn't take up too much space, and it was called Kid Rad, and it had animated sprites, and it was actually really interesting. It's about, like, 8-bit games, and, like, what happens when you turn the game off. And it pays a lot of homages to, you know, other games like, There's one that like is kind of like Dragon Quest. There's one that's like, there's one that's actually talks about Earthbound. So it was a rather interesting comic. But we were playing these games, these Nintendo games, where the translations were fresh when, you know, 8-bit theater was going on, so they used a bunch of those sprites. And it was good. It was a very good comic. Anyway, I've rambled enough about that. We're actually almost to the end of this cave. We may be able to finish it today on this episode. If not, we'll be damn close, and we'll just, we'll pick it up on the next episode, like, really early. Like, we're in the last floor. And if I remember correctly, it'll warp me out automatically when I beat the boss, so... It's just a matter of getting through the 90,000 random battles, apparently. Oh yeah, one extra thing you may notice, if you're familiar with the first Final Fantasy, versus this one, you'll notice that if you select the same enemy, it auto-targets when the enemy dies, which didn't happen in the first game, and you ended up swinging to air. Old RPGs did that, and it was very odd, because, I mean, they obviously solved that problem pretty early on in RPGs, where, you know, say everybody attacks a skeleton, and, you know, the skeleton dies after, like, you know, luck hits it. Everybody else just swings at the air that the skeleton was standing in. This game doesn't do that. Final Fantasy 1 did, but if you remember my Lufia 1 gameplay, Lufia 1 did that. So, Super Nintendo game did that, but, you know, this game, a Nintendo game, fixed it. So, I don't know if it was just intentional, like a difficulty, like fake difficulty, but this game doesn't do that. It also gives you that handy-dandy blinking numbers that tells you where you've... Alright, did my items, like, switch around? That's really odd. Everybody else saw that, right? Okay, they're fine now, but... I'm kind of weirded out. Very strange. So there's the Jinn. I think right when I round this corner, he'll be there, so... Last call on the hit points. Should be ready. Yep. It's Jinn. I'll seal him with this ring. It won't work. You have to beat him up a little bit first. So, again, in the remake he's a lot bigger, but in this one he kind of looks little. So we're gonna whack at him, and we're gonna use some ice. So we're gonna punch him in the chest. Squeeze him a little bit. Slash at him. And we're just gonna keep beating on him until he dies. No tricks on this one. It's the first boss, anyway. Well, technically second boss, but I don't really consider that turtle a first boss. Apparently Ice did a lot more damage that time. And I whooped him. That's what happens when you level up a lot. Now, Sara, seal Jinn. And he just kind of wiggles, and that's it. Now if we put this ring in Sasune's holy spring, we can release Jinn's curse. Let's use the ring's power to warp back. Now in the remake, you warped back to the crystal, and it gave you the first jobs. And then you met her here. But in this one, the order of operations are different. I'd like to go with you, but I'm sure I'd just get in the way. Please come back and visit when your journey is over. Alright. And with that, we were victorious, and the music kicked in. So we can talk to the king, but we'll do it on the next episode. Because we have a little bit more cleanup we have to do here in the places we've been, and then we're off to a new town. So, hope you join me for that. My name is Lucklight, thank you for watching, and have a good one.